All right, guys, welcome back to the shop here. Walking up to see what's going on. Andy's in here working on a little Jeep Willys high hood, and we're gonna see what he's got going on here. Oh yeah, and that thing's back. Yay! What'd you find in here?
Found pliers.
You found pliers? In the Jeep? Okay. Odd.
I was looking.
Oh. Okay.
Anyways, I ran those two wires up over to the battery.
All right, so we got things figured out. That is the correct wire. So customer had this wire landed underneath here, which Holley clearly states in their instructions, they want them ran to the battery, along with the ground. And he had the ground down here into that ground post down here. They want them directly to the battery. So we are redoing this so it's out of the way and where it's supposed to be. Also, he had this wire, which is the main harness going into the Holley, running along with everything else here, this main battery cable and whatnot. So we're gonna reroute this and get it up out of the way and see if this little simple test will fix what we have going on. Look, Mom, no tails. So this one's got 4 hood latches because it's super fast. Don't laugh. Okay. Ugh. Andy laughed at that. I don't know why.
The drive the Jeep, and I know this one's got less power than that.
Oh, come on. Fuel pump? And the power steering works great. It's called Armstrong. Holy moly. Don't mind all the clunking noises. It's an old Jeep. We're just driving it around the yard because it normally only runs for about 10 minutes. And then it shuts off. My neighbor was telling me to slow down in my driveway. He was being funny. Anyway, normally it only runs for about 5 to 10 minutes and then it dies. So, kind of watching the gauges here, seeing what it's doing, but I think we were getting crosstalk, like I was saying, out of that wiring. Holley is very specific on their wiring diagrams and how they want stuff run. So, seems to be running okay. We might have Andy grab his Jeep and we'll go for a drive. That way if we end up having to tow it back, I don't have to walk. But, rodent hole. Reach out, get your arm stuck in that. I don't know if you guys are going to stay there or not. Probably not, but take her out on the road here and see what it does. Wrong gear. The owner was right, the tires are square. Got a cool ass set of old buckshots on it. They are square as can be because it's been sitting. AFRs look good, it's learning, IAC is working, we got voltage, it stops. I think it'd be cool to build one of these little guys just like this, kind of a stock runner, something cool to go tinker around with. I know we have the Bronco, but I'm into this old stuff. And this one's got a cool setup between old school and new school with the throttle body injection there on the old flathead. Shit, it's not even getting warm. 168 is what it's running at. Regulating right there. I'm gonna go stretch its legs a little bit here and I'll get back at you. All right, so we stopped to talk to the neighbor and it did its cool thing where it shut down. And this is what we're getting off of the screen now. From what I'm seeing, it's saying it's a heat issue. This thing really isn't that hot, but it's the problem with these kind of is this setup has the brain and everything is in this unit under the hood. I haven't had issues with this, but I've heard of guys. And we've got fuel flow. The fuel pump is a little loud, but I don't think it's anything to worry about. It's got pressure, so that's not it. I know we did have problems with this screen. Like I said, it was unpinned, but I put it back together and it's been fine. So we'll pick away at this here and see if we can get it back in the garage. All right, guys, we got it fired back up here. Not really sure what we found, if anything. We pulled the main fuse out finally, and it was cockeyed in the holder, which everyone's saying that can cause problems. We also let it sit with the hood up and cool down. 176 is our temps. Yeah, let's go for a little drive again, I guess. All right, we come up with the hypotenuse. If you watch that screen, now the temperature gauge is starting to flicker. It's starting to flicker and do all kinds of weird stuff, but the temperature's going up. I'm almost not too certain that the computer inside that sniper unit is not getting too hot and shutting itself down. We're at 179. We're gonna go park it here and let it idle with the hood shut and watch this and see what it does. But after it hit like 178, 177, that dash started flickering. You guys can't probably see it, but it's definitely doing it, so. All right, there it went. The screen literally just went blank. You guys can't tell, it's just white. I don't know if it's the screen. It's still running. Not sure. So, still doing some diagnostics here. And that's cool looking.
You don't need one right now.
What are you whining about?
I'm bleeding.
Where?
Quit squeezing it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's interesting, the screen. But it's still running, so I'm not sure. Well, there's your problem, Clark. The AC wasn't on. We're doing the forbidden. We're using the neighbor's driveway. God, we're gonna get yelled at. Kid on bike. Kid was eyeballing us. I know. Oh. We have our windshields on. Do we have windshield wipers? I don't think so. We gotta get. According to Washington State Patrol law, even though there's no windshield, it still has to have windshield wipers. The shit they come up with. All right, guys, well, we got it back in the shop. We drove around for probably 25, 30 minutes and it did really good. And then on the way home, it went red screen of death and then came back on. And instantly, like driving down the road, just flipped back on. It did die on us over in the neighborhood once. So I was messing with stuff, unplugged the main plug coming out of the Holly and plugged it back in. I was just testing connections and it came right back on. So I don't know if there's a connection issue somewhere or what. We think it might be heat related too. because it only seems to do it once it starts to get warm. This thing runs at like 175, but if you really slow down and start creeping around or let it idle, it gets up to like 188, 185, and that's when it seems to do it most. But it was 185 in here when we pulled it in. I let it sit here and idle, and it just cooled right back off. So I don't really know. Like I said, the screen glitches when it gets warm. I think it needs a spacer put on it, so I'm gonna talk to the owner here and see what he thinks. He machined the spacer for it, so I might see if he wants to make a phenolic spacer for it. Kind of sucks because it's all linkage, but I think there needs to be some separation between that aluminum and the aluminum body of the adapter. So we'll continue on this one. We'll let you know what's going on. All right, guys, so now that I have completely abandoned my post and filming what I was doing, we changed some things around. Like I've said when we were talking about the power supply here, Holley's very specific about where they want this wiring to go. So there's this pink wire, that's what everyone calls it, the pink wire, which is your keyed ignition wire for the Sniper. They want it coming from the key switch. Well, we found this one tucked right here, on the positive side of the coil. And that is the one thing that they want you to keep all of that wiring away from, is that coil right there. So, that being said, I ran this nice pink wire back in here, tied it into said ignition switch. So, now we've moved 3 vehicles. We're gonna get this one back out and go test drive it. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but we're rolling. Probably been driving it for 10 minutes now. No hiccups, no nothing. I've probably driven it for a good 35-40 minutes now. Well, I can tell you, I left here at a little before 7. It's 7:40 right now. Not doing what it was doing before. It hasn't hiccuped once. I didn't see the screen glitch while the screen was working. That cable for the screen actually got ripped out of the connector, so we repinned it, but the little clip that holds it in is broke, so it likes to wiggle loose. That's why that's not on. I know that for a fact. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll maybe let it sit and go drive it again here in a little bit. All right, dark and early on a Friday morning. It's not really dark, but it is early. I normally don't work at my normal job on Fridays, but I have crews working today, so I have to go in. But last night, right after I shut the camera off, I pulled in the driveway. This thing did the exact same thing. So we went back through and made sure there was nothing touching any of the spark plug wires. Like, they looped down and got kind of close to some of the Holley stuff, so I tied them up out of the way, moved and rerouted everything. So there's nothing close to the ignition source. And then I went through and updated the firmware on this thing. It was definitely an old version, like I think probably 2 versions maybe. So it updated the handheld, and then it recalibrated everything in the Holley itself, the actual throttle body. So I've got about 15 minutes till I gotta leave for work. It's probably not gonna do it, but we're gonna try. Let's go take it for a brisk drive this morning. It's another one of those cool early summer mornings here. A lot of wood stoves burning this morning. So let's drive a car with no doors and no top. My ears are freezing. Oh well. Running okay. mean, but it ran okay before, and then it would randomly die. So, to be honest with you, I'm probably just gonna have to drive it today and put some miles on it and see if it does it again. So, get it back home, get to work. All right, guys, well, it's about hotter than the surface of the sun out here, but not quite. Getting close. It's probably in the mid 80s, which it has not been that warm here for a while, so this little guy seems to be running good. I just wrapped the Holly dash up there so I could see it. I drove it all the way across town through traffic, back and forth, filled it up with fuel, cruised it down a little more. Absolutely no issues. So I'm gonna make one last rip in it. I gotta go drop off some parts to my powder coater and pick up a piece that some guys made for the shifter column in the Bronco. Yeah, so let's take this guy, make sure it makes it home. It'll be leaving today if that does, so let's test it out. Make sure the Holly boots up. Boom. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. Oil pressure's up. It's got gas in it now because I put 10 gallons in a 10-gallon tank this morning. Yeah. Doing Jeep things, you know, no big deal. It actually putters right along. So let's take it for a rip. All right, guys, well, I got my parts dropped off to the powder coater. That was stop number 2. I picked up my new shift indicator plastic piece for the Princess Bronco. We're gonna do something a little different with that. That was stop number 1. Stop number 3, get ourselves a nice refreshing Mountain Dew Slurpee, because it's hotter than Satan's backside out here. That being said, the little Jeep made it there, all the stops, made it back home, no questions asked, did what it needed to, ran good. Yeah. So I think that's the end of this one. I think she's going home. I already talked to the owner. He was ecstatic we got it running, and I've put more miles on it in the last couple days than it's had on it for a long time. So kind of cool. It's sweating a little torque down there, but like the owner said, it's a Jeep. If it's not leaking, it's out of oil. So yeah, we're gonna park this one and call it a good for it. So I think that one's done. I didn't even record anything with that. That was some shock mounts, something super simple. And yeah, we're gonna call it a day. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss anything. Make sure the notification bell is smashed on so you do get notified whenever we post a video. Yeah, that way you don't miss any of the fun stuff we're doing around here, because it goes from hot rods to old school off-road stuff to Broncos to whatever. So yeah, until next time, guys, keep building awesome stuff. We'll see you later.